You're now tuned in to The Investor Show, where we teach simple wealth creation for the common investors. With investment advisor, award-winning author, international speaker, and founder of Royal Financial Investment Group, Prince Dykes.
Once again, guys, this is The Investor Show as always. This is your host, Prince Dykes, coming all the way live from the beautiful state of Colorado, Denver, Colorado. As of right now, guys, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, comment button. If you catch it on social media, feel free to email me. Emails in the description box, all the other great stuff. But as always, guys, I don't have a lot of time. I definitely know you guys don't have a lot of time. So let's jump straight into it.
What up? What up? It's your boy Vigo Sachi. This is The Investor Show, and you're checking in with the investor genius, Prince Dykes. Let's get it.
As you guys can already see in the description box, you can see that we have a very, very special guest on the line. We have Mr. Walter Harris. If you don't know who Mr. Walter Harris is, and he's a former NFL athlete, 13 seasons, Pro Bowler, played for several teams, first round draft pick, all that type of great stuff. Did some great stuff in college out there in LaGrange, all the way went to Mississippi State. So we're just going to sit back. We're going to see what he's up to. We want to hear about his time in the football league, what he's doing now, and just hear him drop some gems on us and see what Mr. Harris is up to today. So without any further ado, Mr. Harris, how's it going, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on and being a part of it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So for people out there, who may not actually be clueless, they may want to hear you say it. Who is Mr. Walt Harris?
Who is the Walt Harris? Well, yeah, I am the real Walt Harris. That's my Instagram piece there. But yep, from a small town, LaGrange, Georgia. Grew up youngest of 11 kids, being the 7 brothers and 3 sisters, being the youngest. Ended up going to Mississippi State University for a 4-year scholarship there. Leaving from there, had a successful collegiate career. Ended up being drafted by the Bears. Had a wonderful time being in Chicago, although it was cold. I had a chance to play up under some cold weather and playing up under with the Indianapolis Colts. Coach Tony Dungy, had a chance to play with him for a couple of years. Wonderful experience there. Ended up going to the Washington Redskins, playing 2 years up under Joe Gibbs, and finished my career with the 49ers for 4 years. So that was the best time that career-wise I've had. So now, man, just retired, enjoying life, doing some things, trying to help bring a lot of the guys together, and just having fun, man.
Okay. So now, coming from a little small town, LaGrange, Georgia, doing great things in high school, being a great athlete, and going off to Mississippi State, being a great athlete. How did it feel becoming the first round draft pick?
Well, for me, it was a little different. I know people ask me that all the time. Just coming from a small town, just very small beginnings. My mom, and dad, very hard workers. We and getting the opportunity to be able to be drafted, coming from such a small town with minimal opportunities in my community. I was just very humbled by the experience, and just really wanting to not fail, do well. And, it was when I was drafted when they called my name, I was excited, but it wasn't that, that hip hooray type ordeal. For me, I looked at it as, wow, this is an opportunity. This organization believed in me. Here's an opportunity for me to do something different, to change just change my future based on the opportunity that I have before me. So it was I looked upon it as just an opportunity that I didn't want to fail at.
Okay. All right. So now you go off, you do this or whatnot. Did the NFL live up to the hype that was it everything you thought it was going to be, or was it kind of a disappointing thing? How did that go?
No, it was, I was just taking it as it came.
Hmm.
I had no really expectations of it from the standpoint of what I was looking to see, anything like that, because really growing up, although I watched football and loved it and really played more football and backyard football than just watching it on television. And so when I had the opportunity to just play professionally, I didn't have that huge expectation that people now will have because there's so much exposure with the football piece on it and with social media and the internet and everything that goes on now. It's really blown up to a different place. So my outlook on expectations for it was just, hey man, here's an opportunity. I get a chance to be up on a professional team, play on a field around thousands and thousands of people and millions of people that's watching on television. Man, I was just really focused on just trying to do well and try to stay in the league as long as I could.
Wow. Okay. Pretty humble beginnings, and and like you mentioned, you said, hey, now with social media and everything like that, the league is blown up and it's became bigger and stuff like that. I'd ask you the question: how has the game, either at the pro level, how have you seen it change from your era to the era we in now?
Well, I think the game is still the game, although there are a lot of nuances within the game now that's changed. If you're looking at it from just mainly some of the details of how the game is played, I think even the practices. There's a new CBA that has come out once I left the game, and I was really hating the fact that I left it during that time because I think a lot of times the players now have so much more flexibility and more. The training camps are things that I really couldn't stand, and now the guys are. Yeah,
so you,
I couldn't
so
stand
you
the
said you
training
could.
camps.
Why you couldn't stand the training camp?
Training camps, man, it was just brutal. It was just brutal on the body. A lot of people don't think how brutal it is, and Waffy was. And I know it's a lot better now, but we had the 2-a-day practices, and it's a grind. It's meetings, practices, meetings again, over and over again. Just redundant things, however, necessary things. But it
So
was just
so
a
train
grind on the body.
so you have training camp, then right after training camp you go into what, preseason, then season. That's how it goes.
Yep, yeah. Well, actually, even before training camp, you're with the team during the off season, and during that time, it was really, uh, so to speak, important, and it was vital for you to be there. But it wasn't something to where they required you to be there. But it was, hey, if you're not here, it's kind of like under the breath that we know what you're representing if you're not with the team. So it was almost pretty much a year-round thing, really, for the most part. You had only a few months off, and then
Hmm.
you're back with the team, and you're having the OTA practices, and then you have the training camp, and then you have the preseason, and then in season. So, and then if you're fortunate enough to make it to the playoffs, and that's a great time for any player, any team, really, because that's like it's fun. It's a great opportunity. So, but yeah, I didn't like training camp. Training camp was a grind. I really couldn't stand it.
Okay, all right. So okay, so that's a pretty interesting fact that you're going from training camp and then you go into the preseason, then you got the season, then once the season is over, you get a couple months off, and then you're right back into the grind.
Oh yeah, it's
But but
constant.
but you guys don't get paid unless to game time, right?
Yeah. Payment doesn't come around until it's game time. You might get a little something here at preseason, but game time you got to make the squad for your contractual agreement is being executed upon. Um, so yeah, during that time you have minimum time to be able to to take care of the things you need to take care of before the season starts.
Oh, wow. Okay. So now, financially, if you don't mind me asking, throughout your long career, 13 years in the league, how much, if you had to throw a ballpark together, that you probably think that you probably earned from the NFL?
Oh man, it's a whole lot different than it is now. I'll tell you that. And I say that. And I say that knowing that even the guys before me have said the same thing about me. You know what I mean? Because they were there before me,
Mm-hmm.
and so what they received was a whole lot less than what I received. And so I'm looking at the same situation where you look at now with the guys and the contracts and things like that. And so, and it continues to grow, and it's good for all the players, really. But I can't even really add up, really. It obviously is millions and millions and millions, but um, there are responsibilities that you have to do. What goes in, some of it comes out, and and it's a learning curve for a lot of us.
Okay. So now, along the way, did you make any investments or any type of investment you got into, or you just kind of just maybe save your money or anything like that?
Oh yeah, investments kind of came here and there all over the place. I made a lot of mistakes investing.
Mm-hmm.
I made some good investment choices. Real estate is something that I've always has been really bread and butter for me, to where I felt safe because it was something that I was really comfortable with, something that I understood, something tangible that I could see and touch or whatnot. And so
Mm-hmm.
as I continue to get around more and more other polished people in the financial area, it helped me out to learn some things that I didn't know. Um, after some of the mistakes that I made, and I learned from it. So I made some good choices and some bad choices in investing, and so it's a learning curve, especially for those that you come from a small town. You're not taught to know how to handle certain monies that you get that your whole family has never had to be able to have discussions about. And so when you get it, it's very important that you surround yourself with some very important, smart, but people that's there to help you, so that you can continue to help the learning curve as you get older, and while you're having the things that you have. And that's in anything, really. Money is one of the things, but that's in anything that you do. You always have to surround yourself with the right people, the experienced people, but the people that's going to tell you like it is and be honest with you, and
Mm-hmm.
that ultimately care about you.
Okay. Now, that you said that you had that learning curve that, hey, obviously you made millions of dollars and you made some investments, and that's 100% right. And I think that one of the centerpiece of why a lot of people make a lot of mistakes is that, like you said, you don't come from a family environment, or it's not taught as a child. You just kind of got to figure out on your own. But and if you don't have a long lasting career, some people just never figure it out. Now, what are some things you look back, like you said, you learned some stuff like, wow, I didn't learn this and learn that until you got around some more polished people in the investing world. What are some things you didn't know that you learned in your with investing, like you're like, whoa, I didn't know this, but now I know that you would mind leaving out there, sharing with people out there.
Oh, well, it's just some of the simplest things as far as just budgeting. Some of the things that comes to budgeting, learning when you're making investment choices, understanding operating agreements, understanding a balance sheet, understanding some of those things that you never looked at before in your life because you never had someone before you that has had a company before you, so you don't have that. You don't have that mentorship. And so some of the small things, and it's always all the way to the point to where you need to learn how to vet people, learning people that knowing that you can't trust everyone. Coming from a small
Mm-hmm.
town, you naturally feel that for the most part people are there for your best interest, and you learn over time because you know some people are not there. They're there for themselves, and they're there with an agenda. And that was a learning curve that I had to learn because I know me. I'm not ever coming into a situation to where I'm trying to take advantage of anyone intentionally. I could be doing it subconsciously and not knowing it, but there's no awareness. There's not an awareness for me going into it knowing that I'm trying to do something wrong to someone. And so when you know who you are and how you are, you project on other people how you see yourself. And so that was a learning curve that I had to learn over time to where not everybody's in your best interest. So regardless, business is business, and you need to learn to vet people. You need to learn to do your due diligence. that's a big thing that I learned to do over time is due diligence. Because if you don't understand, some of the historical uh, mistakes that you've made and historical things that you're getting into, then you're pretty much, it's possible that you can make those same mistakes again. So that was, some of the learning curves I've learned over time that, it's a learning curve. Basically, that's what it is.
And that's awesome to hear because I've experienced it myself. People have heard me say this on the show, and I say this to guests all the time. That you hit it on the head. Me coming from an even smaller town. We consider LaGrange. That's a pretty, you guys got Walmarts and
Right,
everything out
right.
there.
Because there's some people that don't even have the Walmarts, and I have some people, like, man, that live like 20 minutes from me from
hmm
Lagrange, and they're like, we used to come to Lagrange to go shopping. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What's the Lagrange
Oh
job?
yeah.
But so
You
so
know.
that awareness, I had to learn that. I had to learn, okay, well, Lagrange to some people is big,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. And I remember, Lagrange is not it's small, but I've seen some small spots. But I know my hometown was small, and what I mean to tie into what you were saying was that, when you building relationships and you're networking, I experienced that in my personal life when, always consider myself and say, hey, I'm a genuine person. Like you said, I'm not going to go at somebody with some type of angle and stuff like that. But you'll soon realize everybody is not the same way. You'll soon realize that, like you're in a relationship, you're thinking like, hey, this is a cool person versus someone else to you as a dollar sign.
right,
And you're building a relationship with someone that they have an angle, they have an agenda, and it's something that you may find out later on, but that's what I always try to tell people. But I know I never experienced on a level like you guys experience on a professional athlete level, especially coming from Lagrange, and now you're on TV, you're doing this and you're doing that, and you know it's even worse. All your business is out on the social, all over the network, all over the world. So you even getting
right,
even 10 times worse. So
yep.
now I got to ask you this question. That you felt good with the real estate side of the house. What are some of the bad investments what was your worst investment? You're like, man, that was stupid, or man, I didn't know, or things just didn't pan out.
I won't say I had like bad. Well, that was the time when I just invested. I had this gentleman that I was working with who was supposedly to be someone that you trust. Again, that goes
Mm-hmm.
back to the vetting piece and really
Mm-hmm.
just being in the know about things yourself. And he just introduced me to this other guy, and it had something to do with real estate to a certain level, but it was more of an investment that I made. It was about over half a million, and end up investing it, just sending the money over, not really have just trusting. First of all, just trusting the guy who was supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
someone that was in my best interest. And before I know it, that investment was there and it was gone. It was in a shell, LLC where nothing was really there, and so just trying to get it back. And I think it was that was probably the worst investment that I've had, that I look back on and be like, that was really stupid. Especially the things that I
Mm-hmm.
know now. It's like, okay, wow. But I've been around people that has taught me before, years back, and this was before I got into the investing business, and they told me, they said, education will cost you, and not knowing will cost you. So when you don't know something, eventually, if you don't know, it could cost you, and that's something that has happened a couple of times in my life to where I wasn't well informed on things or how to do things, and so it cost me. So that's why education is so vital. You got to continue to expand, you got to continue to grow, you got to continue to learn things that you don't know, and that comes with humility too. Because I know as an athlete, when you're playing a game, I know for me, it took me a long time to accept the fact that, here's some things that I just don't know. Because we as athletes, we're built up. We're built up that we're these soldiers, these men that have it all together because of what we have. But the sad reality of it is that there are things that we don't know. We know all about the game. We know the sport of football, and we know that a whole lot better. But when it comes to finances and things like that, there are things that we just don't know, and it takes humility to say we don't know it because we've been built up so much to say, hey, you're this guy, we're looking up to you. And so for me personally, I had to realize that, I had to humble myself to ask people and to get around people that I could really over time trust to help me learn things that I just didn't know. And that cost me because I wasn't humble enough to just close my mouth and listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what was this supposed to be? You said they had some. What was it? Was it supposed to buy some property into a business?
Yeah, it was some properties. It was a guy that needed, needed a short-term loan, basically, and it was going to come back with, percentage of your money back over a short period of time. I mean, some of the structure made a whole lot of sense, but in reality, and these deals happen all the time. Right, and these deals happen all the time. I've seen them, but if you're not vetting the company, if you're not vetting the people, if you're not knowing the people you're dealing with and being more involved in that investment, that could cost you. Because a lot of times players, we feel that our focus is mainly football playing, and we're gonna leave it to those other people that we trust. Yeah, we want those people that we trust and are more experienced, but at the same time, there should be a learning curve to where we know some things about what's happening and we can ask questions and challenge people that's handling your money. And so that's why, and that's how many times players and people, not even just players, but people that with large sums of money that never had it, get taken advantage of because we don't know, and we don't know what questions to ask. It could cost us.
Very, very, like you're always using this word. You're saying bet. I'm hearing that over and over and over. Somebody out there who's listening and they decided to bet this person. What would be your advice? So, how does Walker go out there and bet someone?
Well, first of all, betting to me comes in different fashions. First of all, it comes from my personal vet, or it's with me feeling comfortable with this individual. You can't just, when people come up to you and say, "Hey, I got this great deal," because you're going to get deals. People coming up with you with all types of opportunities, and some of them can be good, but most of the time they're not as good as you think. And so, what I do, I like to know what I'm getting into first, knowing what it is and knowing that person. So I would vet that person, vet that individual by me first feeling comfortable with who they are, and what type of individual they are. And from there, then you vet the opportunity. You got to look into it and sit and see if it's something that I know about. If I don't, I would just pass it on to some people that have more experience in it. And while I'm passing it on to them, I'm going to get educated on that as well. But for the most part, if it's something that I don't know, something that I'm not, it's not my purpose, I pretty much stray away from it because at the end of the day, I'm not going to give it the attention that it needs, and that's where, for me, a lot of failure comes from.
Okay. Well, that's great that you said that sitting down with the person, and because even us as regular everyday people, things pop up. You get emails, newsletters, friends tell you, coworkers tell you, cousins, friends, in-laws. Hey, I heard about this, and you maybe did it. So that's great that you said, hey, sit down with it and vet the person, and vet the situation. If you don't understand it, then pass it on. If it's too hard, then whatever your personal thing is. But I know that it was a little old school when you was in, but now we got the thing called the internet. Everybody got Google.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. Right.
That's one of the first tools I use. I give you the Google test first and say, okay, let's see what we got here on Google and let's see what I can find about it. You don't have to drive all the way to the big city and pay for all this and that, and you can just you'll be surprised what you can find out with a quick little Google search these days. So definitely that. Okay. Now, when you was in football, did you ever think about life after football, or was it always just
Well, I knew when I was playing, there were some things that I was interested in. That was really football.
Mm-hmm.
I knew there was a time when my career eventually was going to end. One thing about football that in order for you to, and this is just my perspective of it, in order for you to be as good as what you're in, it's going to require a lot of your time, no matter what it is. So football is a very demanding. The sport is very demanding. Any sport is very demanding of your time because in order for you to sharpen your craft, it's going to require your mind. It's going to require your body. It's going to require your time. So, having said that, you still need to put away some of that time so that you can focus on what's next also. And so for me, some of the things that I did during the off season, I just educated myself a little bit more about the real estate piece because it was something that I was really interested in. And just business itself, that was my major. So just I was a person growing up that I just wanted to be in the know. I wanted to learn. I wanted to know how are things done? What's the best way to do things? And so yeah, I had some thoughts after career, but that didn't happen until later on because when you're a young buck coming into the league, thinking that you're going to play for 20, 30, 20 years or whatnot, not knowing that the average life of football span is 3.5, 4 years. So, but you don't think that way because you're young, dumb, and not knowing as much as you should. But yeah, over time, I learned at the mid part of my career, latter part of my career, there are some other things that I should get involved in and know a little bit more about.
Okay, now, why do you think so many athletes run into these financial issues and that we see? Like, athlete makes this many millions and millions of dollars, and us as regular everyday people, we're like, man, we'll never make any money like that. How do you just throw it all away? Why do you think we see that? And what do you think the NFL can do or if you think the NFL is already doing a great job with trying to help alleviate those situations and problems?
Well, I mean, there are things that the NFL can do. However, from what I've seen lately, they are doing things a whole lot better than when I was in the league. It could be a whole lot better, really. But I think each individual person has to look at the game as this is your corporation, this is your business, and you need to look at it as a business because it's nothing else but a business. Because in reality, the game could be over by the snap of your finger. It could be an injury. It could be a decision by an owner or a coach to say, hey, I don't think you're good enough. And so at that point is when you need to have had some sense of knowing what my next move is. And yeah, so we need it. We need to continue to learn how to add more time into other things outside of the game that we in because it's not long. It could be over in a minute.
Can I ask you a question? Now, is there anything that you would have done different, or any advice would you give to maybe an active player, someone who's getting ready to go into the NFL? What would you tell that young Walt that just got drafted by Chicago Bears and, you know, just knowing what you know now?
Yeah, I would just say pretty much some of the things that we've already been talking about on this cast here is mainly, what I tell guys now is go into the league with the mindset of getting ready to come out. And so what's next? And so at the same time, it's the vetting piece. It's the putting. You're going to need to really look at your future, but at the same time, you're still going to have to focus on the game. Now, that's an opportunity that, like you say, most people would dream to have had. And so take advantage of that opportunity right now. Take care of your body. Live a lifestyle to where it's a whole lot easier for you to be successful, because it could be gone in a minute. And I know we see it a lot of times on media or in the news where athletes just kind of blow it. They have an opportunity, but they don't take advantage of it. And it happens all the time. But at the same time, there are many guys in the league that has taken advantage of it. Unfortunately, the media things that are out there doesn't show much of that. So I would just advise guys to just vet people when it comes to business opportunities. But at the same time, your business now is really the fact that you're playing this game. That's your business. So treat it like a business and it'll treat you well.
Okay. Now, life after football. What is Mr. Walt Harris up to now? He's been out of the league now. You've been out of the league for about what, 7?
7, yes,
Years?
7. Oh man, it's getting long. Wow, 7 years. Time's going by so fast. It's crazy, man. I don't know what happened to 2017. We're going into this new year, so time is going by fast.
Wow. So now you 7 years get out of football. What have you been up to now? You just kick your feet up and relax, or you into anything, or you just enjoying the? I forgot to ask you. I don't know. Do you have a family?
Yep. I have four kids. Three girls, and my son is the youngest. My oldest daughter, she's 24. We actually have the same birth date.
Oh wow!
We're both Leos, and so
August?
so yeah, yep, August. So yep, so I three girls and a boy, and I mean what I'm doing now, man. I'm just, and no, I'm not kicking my feet up because I can't. It's hard to. Yeah, I right now I'm on the board with the NFLPA local former players chapter in Atlanta as vice president there, just serving on the board there. Just it's a community based, gathering a lot of the former athletes up and just providing direction for them and doing a lot of things in the community. But what I'm also focusing on now, and that was because a lot of my experiences throughout the league and what I've seen after the league from transitioning. I have my own company organization called Official Pro Players. I created that about 2.5 years ago with the purpose of bringing all professional athletes together. And that's what it is, a network of all professional athletes. So it's just not football, is not basketball. A lot of times you see sports as its own genre of individual sports, where it is basketball over there, football, tennis over there. But what I said, is that, hey, wait a minute, we're all athletes. So it would be great. It would be a huge thing that we can do together as one unit, one network, because I believe in unity. I believe in team because I come from a sport that is predicated on teamwork. And so I looked at that as the same concept when it comes to why not we all find ways to connect with one another, network with one another, and become a huge community of individuals that have played sports on a professional level. Because to me, that is something that many people could only dream of doing. It's just if you play one down and you sign the contract for 1 year, you've done something that millions of people could only have dreamed of. And so that's a huge accomplishment for an individual. So my thing is, we need to continue to highlight these guys and these ladies for that accomplishment and create a network to where we can all support one another of whatever we're doing, because there are a lot of individuals that are doing great things that could continue to help be mentors to other former or active athletes. But on the same page, there are some other people that are struggling. They're having challenge of learning how to transition. And to me, that was me trying to figure out how to transition, because once I stopped playing the game, it was, I don't want to see football. I don't want to see it. I don't want to talk about it. And it was an emotional challenge that I had to overcome over time. And I didn't realize how much of an impact or an effect it had on me until I decided to get out and get more involved with some of the other players, some of the other guys that are not playing or even still playing, because that's what we all know and have known for our whole life, is to interact with one another. People on the same mission, on the same vision, and we can relate a whole lot better. So that helped me over time to realize my passion, my dreams, things that I want to do. You look at and listen to some of the other things that other individuals are doing. That help you to kind of help mold and shape some of the things outside of the sport that you want to do. So that's what I'm doing now, and it's just a network of all professional athletes. We want to highlight these guys and ladies. We want to continue to create a mentorship program for not just us individuals, but for other youth. We want to be able to do that and be able to team up together as one network and go out in the community and do big things together as one. I have this one belief that we can do all more things together as a unit than we can do as individuals. And so that's pretty much the concept.
Very, very true. And it's one of the first, I want the first athlete, if I'm not mistaken, that came on my show was about a year and a half ago, was Marquise Ogden. I know you know him pretty
My
well.
man, yes.
Oh yeah, he was the first one. I read an article on him at CNN, and I reached out to him. He became the first athlete, and since him, is I think I probably lost count, but to me, growing up watching you guys and seeing it, it's like wow, And then sometimes I meet athletes and they say, well, I'm down and out, I'm struggling, I'm going through X, Y, Z, and it always make me say, wow, how could this happen to, hey man, you're a Pro Bowl champion, you done this and done that. I watch you on TV. I remember when you got drafted in X, Y, Z, and when they break it down to you, you kind of understand it better. But you still say like what you said. I'm like, man, what would it take just to get on the practice squad? You know, what would it take to just dress out? How good you have to be just to get on the practice squad? To just dress out and sit on the bench and, you know, never mind actually playing. I'm like, man, that's very, very rare, very, very rare that you can even play at that level. I barely can play at the high school level. So I know, getting to the pro level, that's very, very elite. So I definitely like what you was doing there. And, I was on your Instagram and I saw a flyer about a mixer, Super Bowl 52 mixer. What is what is that all about?
Well, over the past going on 3 years now, one of my it's kind of like a beginning of the year or end of the year type of extravaganza that I like to do is a Super Bowl viewing mixer. Obviously
Hmm.
there's a Super Bowl. We're having a Super Bowl networking mixer on Super Bowl February 4th Sunday, and what it is my organization company. We put together this huge um, official pro players Super Bowl party, we can call it. But it's not a party. It's a great time to where we're going to watch the Super Bowl because everybody know on Sunday where they're going to be somewhere watching the Super Bowl somewhere.
Hmm.
But we're going to have it at a venue, Westside Cultural Arts Center, and we're going to invite all the professional athletes out that are in the Atlanta area. Some people are going to be coming into Atlanta, coming in to watch the Super Bowl, and
Okay.
we're going to have it at the venue. We're going to have a red carpet event. It's going to be red carpet.
Oh
It's going to be
wow.
networking, and it's an opportunity for all professional athletes to come together and network amongst each other. That's my goal, and that's my mission. And our motto is
Now, Walt,
engage, unite, and
Walt,
empower.
I gotta ask you a
Yep.
question. Can regular people come?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the whole
Okay.
purpose of it because I want not only us as athletes to come to the event, but at the same time there are people in the local community, movers and shakers, businessmen and women. It's an invitation for all, to come out and support, and we're doing it for a great cause. It's to help. We're creating proceeds to the Georgia Pro Players is our foundation, nonprofit foundation of choice, to where we're going to donate proceeds to benefit college athletes that need support in going to college. Because as I know, as an athlete, sometimes or just trying to get to college, there are costs that you just don't have. I know for me, when I was in college, it was a struggle. I was on scholarship, but at the same time, I needed some extra funds here and funds there to help
Mm.
to help me, get from A to B or get to the next year that you sometimes don't have. And so that's what the college fund that we're donating proceeds for. So it's for that to help educate our youth and our youth are our future at the end of the day. So we're having a
Okay.
great time. It's going to be a great networking event. We're going to have tons of great vendors out there. We're going to watch the Super Bowl. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be good music. We have the baddest DJ that's going to
All
be
right.
there, and we're just having a lot. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a nice, classy, but at the same time fun event, and I'd like to do it every year.
Now, what would it cost? What the person got to do to get there? Is
So
there a link? Is there a website? How do they find out what's going to take to get there?
So they can go to officialproplayers.com and all the information
Okay.
is on it. That's officialproplayers with an S.com. And you'll learn a little bit about the organization and who we are and what we're growing and what we're doing, as well as the event. There's to donate. If you can't make it, you can also just donate. We support
Okay.
different causes that we believe in, and we would love to network and with other and partner with other organizations and people that we feel that work with what our mission what our mission is.
Oh, awesome, awesome. So you guys hear that? Check out the link. I know there's a lot of football fans out there. I didn't even know something like that, like this even exists. That you can, go to a mixer like that and meet players and things like that. Now, with this going on, like if somebody wanted to get in contact with Walt Harrison and your organization, how do they do that? Do you have a Facebook or you talk Instagram? You call a agent or a manager? How people can get in touch with
Yep, they can always find me on Facebook at Walt Harris. Instagram, I am the real Walt Harris.
you? Mm-hmm.
And you can also find official pro players on Instagram.
Okay.
And if they want to know more information about the event, looking to be a sponsor or a vendor there, we got a great sponsorship package. You can email us at oppaffairs@gmail.com. That's oppaffairs, AFFAIRS @gmail.com. And you can also just reach me at walt@officialproplayers.com. And I'll follow back up with you.
So that's actually you on Instagram and Facebook. That's. So if I inbox you, it'd really be you. That'll really be Walt Harris.
Oh, that'll be me. That'll be the real Walt Harris reaching back with you. I love to stay in touch with people that love to stay in touch with me and see what they're doing. And I'm a big supporter. I tell you that. And one of my biggest things is, I have learned to support others because I believe in that. Because at the end of the day, we all need support in some kind of way. So when people are having things going on, I can't be everywhere at one time. But if I can make it and it's something that I can feel that I can bring value to, I love to be there to support.
Definitely. Okay. So I just sent you a friend request on Facebook. So
Okay, great.
yeah, we got it. So, but is there anything else you want to leave people out there to hear about you or anything like that?
No, man. I think we touched on it all. I mean, that's just at the end of the day, I'm just a normal guy that with a big heart and a big vision that I feel that we can all just come together as one and do some great things and support our communities and just continue to just get better and be better individuals, and we continue to grow and learn each other.
Okay, awesome. But I know you said you had 4 kids. What I want to do once you get off the line, I definitely want to send a copy of each one of my children's books, to you and your family.
Awesome.
Yeah, they're just financial literacy books for children. That starring me and my son and stuff like that. So I definitely want to, get a good contact on you and get that out to you. And just my appreciation for you stopping by and taking time out of your day and letting people hear from you. And I'm really honored by that. So
I appreciate it. I appreciate the platform
it.
that you created. Also, just being able to do this and do what you're doing. It's creating a platform for others to be able to, to express, where they are, and people need to know. And so I appreciate what you're doing.
Oh, definitely. I kind of did it by mistake, but
hey, there are no mistakes in life. It might look like it was a mistake, but there's always a purpose intended. But I would love to hear that story about the mistake sometime.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's things just kind of one thing led to another, then or whatnot. I'll tell you one thing. I got accepted and invited up to Warren Buffett's meeting, and
wow.
I go to his meeting, and I don't know what to expect. They're just like, hey, come. They gave me press credentials to cover it, and I never been to Omaha. I had never been to Nebraska, and I had been reading about Warren Buffett and investing for years to come. And I get there and I end up meeting Ron Artest. I end up meeting Steven Jackson, the running back, Dominic Sue, Calais Kemp, a couple athletes that I had been watching. But these were the last people I was expecting to see at Barbara's meeting. And, you know, since I knew them, you know, they gave me interviews and everything like that, and it became awesome. And, you know, it was, like I said, it's just kind of crazy how my path just led into athletes, you know.
Right.
But, hey, it happens and things like that. And if anything I could do with your organization, you know, if anybody that you know that, hey, we need a platform or we want to get out there and everything, you know, I broadcast live here in Denver, Colorado on local television in Hawaii. And, you know, we do radio here. And then we also have my own thing with my podcast, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and stuff like that. So, you know, it's a platform. If anybody want to get out there to hear anything. And the crazy part is via my platform is how I ended up meeting Marquise. Via my platform is how I ended up meeting LaRon McClain.
Right.
You know,
right.
He saw LaRon saw Marquise, and LaRon reached out. So it's kind of crazy, you know. I'm like, wow, these guys are, you know, NFL athletes and this and that, and here I am, just a little old boy from Waynesboro, Georgia.
That's the thing that I would tell people also. Just listening to your story, just a few minutes you just gave me. I mean, at the end of the day, I would just encourage people, you know, just get out there and do something. You might not know what it is, but you just going out there to that meeting. Look how that led you to what you're doing. So you can't get to where you need to get to by staying in place. You know, and that's my other thing. I call it cold Kim. Just keep it moving. You know, just keep it moving. And so it's amazing how I hear these stories all the time when people are doing things and they decided to get off the sofa or just stop staying stagnant. You gotta get going in order for you to really find out what your purpose or mission is.
Okay, definitely. I definitely appreciate that, and that definitely was the truth. Now, I will tell people, with some people, they don't understand. It wasn't. I just didn't wake up and just, you know, go to Buffett's meeting. I had been doing it for about 4 or 5 years. You know, yeah, I didn't want people to think like, man, you know what, you're right, I'm gonna do this tomorrow. But I'm like, hey, I had been doing it for years. You know, I had been, you know, YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, because when I came out, I didn't have a big organization. I didn't have a big name. I didn't have any sponsors. I was just by myself. So everything is, 100% independent. Just me and Chad, we do everything 100% ourselves. And so it took a while, you know, to us taking opportunities. And like you said, learning from the bad side. Oh, wow, these people don't mean you any good. Or, hey, these people do mean you good. Or some people got ulterior motives. You know, they say they want to, you know, help you, but really they got ulterior motive to do X, Y, Z. So I had to experience a lot of that, and I'm pretty sure I got a whole lot more to experience. So, but
absolutely,
definitely appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. I definitely will be in touch with you, and I know I want to make sure one more time, is there anything out there that you want to say to anybody? So.
Just cold Kim and cold Kim and just keep it moving. Keep it moving, my friends. Appreciate you having me on.
Definitely. Once again, guys, this is the Investor Show. This is your host, the Prince of Investing, Prince Dykes, coming all the way live from Denver, Colorado. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until the next video, podcast, book, cartoon, or whatever you see me do crazy around the globe. Peace. Be safe. I'm out. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Simple Investor Radio Show with author and investment advisor, Prince Dykes.